My name is Paul Mpokwa. I'm a young business leader and a social change maker. Currently, I'm a co-founder at Fundi App, which is a handyman on-demand service that connects vetted and background-checked handymen with clients and opportunities in the wider market. I have two other co-founders in Godfrey Kilimomeshi and Christopher Shaw. Our offices are located in Dar es Salaam, Upanga East. We were established since June 2019. And our tagline is Maisha ni Rahisi Fundi App, with Fundi App because we fundamentally believe that we are making the lives of our customers easier by helping them with their tasks and projects. Well, it can get considerably difficult locating a handyman who prioritizes quality, affordability, and reliability. Most service providers are not vetted, who are based in the informal sector as well, which makes the process of finding them risky, expensive, and very time-consuming for the customer. At Fundi App, we think we have a shot at revolutionizing access to professional handyman services for our clients. Our vision is to build the most trusted network of informal service providers, and we are on a way to just doing that as we speak. First of all, I've been on the receiving end of the problem many times. When I did an initial market research, talked to friends, family, I realized that it's a very common pain point for most of them. So I decided to do market research, a deeper market research, just to understand how deeply rooted the problem was. So my co-founders and I, we went deeper. We talked to a few people in the market, and by few people I mean service providers, but as well as people who are receiving these services on a day-to-day basis. It was evidently consistent that this is a problem for a lot of people that needed addressing. So we got together. We decided to become a core team that addresses this, and started working on it pronto. Yes, when we started, we mostly bootstrapped, yeah? And by bootstrapped, I mean a little bit of cash. We invested ourselves a little bit of cash and a whole lot of skill, complementary skill among the team members. And I cannot stress this enough that it has to be a mix of both, because most people, when you talk about bootstrapping, they think it's just about putting down cash. But complementary skill sets are just as important, if not more. So we started with that, but during the same year in which we started in 2019, we also won a Dare to Change Tanzania, a startup tournament or contest by Digital Opportunity Trust. So we won a seed or a pre-seed fund from that, which also helped tremendously to set up operations, register the company, and build the prototype for our product. In terms of investors, we have also had a few people here internally and externally. For instance, last year we won the Von Sydows Brand Protection Prize during the Africa Cup. And we raised about $5,000 from that. But earlier this year, we were also named as one of the top 20 solutions in the Africa versus Virus contest, which is hosted by the African Development Bank. And we raised at least 20,000 USD from that as well. So it's been a journey that it's not a straightforward journey, You have to be very patient. You have to understand that it is not going to come from a singular place, but you have to remain consistent and disciplined through and through. We have built two platforms. We have a mobile app. It's called Fundi App. It's available in the Play Store. But we also have a web application, fundiapp.techtz. The mobile app is very effective for one type of market, which is homeowners and household level services. So for instance, you need a plumber, or you need an electrician, or someone to fix your satellite dish. It's very effective when you use a mobile app because you get connected to the nearest service provider, in your vicinity. Also, all pricing is included within the app, and everything is happening through an algorithm. So there doesn't need to be someone, behind a computer, connecting a service provider and a client. Everything is already premeditated. Everything is already built to connect these two. So we are very transparent with our pricing through the app, and you always get connected to the service provider who is nearest to you. The web application is most effective with our corporate partners because that's the second type of customers that we deal with. We work with companies in construction, infrastructure development, and renewable energy in the meantime. So when they have an interest for us to supply them with workforce or labor, they log their interest through the web platform, and we go through a series of negotiation and sort of trying to understand what the demand is and what we can provide them with, and then take it from there. Yes, we have two, as I might have mentioned earlier, we have two types of target customers. On the one hand, we have homeowners, people who need household level services, but on the second hand, we work with companies that offer some type of service for their clients, installation, repair, maintenance services. But also we work with companies in construction. They don't have to go through sourcing, interviewing, onboarding, or at the end of the day hiring people who are unqualified. We can do that for them. Yeah, and the way we reach them is diversified. We use a blend of traditional business development methods and the new school digital branding / marketing. The former is very effective with the corporate partners. The traditional business development is very effective with when we deal with companies. But the digital branding marketing is very effective with household level service consumers, because we reach them very personally through ads and social media and the likes of such channels. Yes, there are other trailblazers in this space, people who are doing similar natured work, and some who started before us too. But the important thing is that we think, first of all, we have a very huge market, and the problem that we are addressing is massive, first of all. So there's that. The second thing is, even though the beneficiary or the person that we are trying to improve their lives in terms of the service provider who operates in the informal market is the same or is similar, but our idea of who is the target customer is a little bit different. Some of these initiatives entirely focus on household level services. Some of them, people like us, we source our works from construction, infrastructure development. We are also talking with companies in mining. So the target customer, or where we source the work, is from different channels, even though that the beneficiary or the person who is benefiting from the work in terms of the service provider is somewhat similar. Initially, when we started, we just wanted to work with household level services, but we have managed to partner with a giant in renewable energy, one of the leading companies in distributed solar power in East and West Africa. So in the meantime, we are providing them with installation, repair and maintenance services in the Eastern Zone. So we hope to expand the reach to go into the Lake Zone and the Southern Highlands later this year. And that is the model that we want to go forward with. In terms of the awards, we have won 3 awards. The first one is the Dare to Change Tanzania award, which was the first award in 2019. It was hosted here in Tanzania by Digital Opportunity Trust. The second award that we won was the Von Seidel's Brand Protection Prize. And we were very excited winning this award, because this was the contest for the entire continent, you know, which was narrowed down to the 10 best startups, and then the awards were given out. So we won this in October last year, which sort of like gave us you know, energy to keep moving and saying like, okay, other people too are excited about the work that we do here. And earlier this year, we were announced as one of the top 20 solutions for the Africa versus Virus contest by the African Development Bank, which is massive for us, because AFDB is a massive organization, and the funding that comes with it too, you know, is quite lucrative. In terms of the operations, we have managed to build a database of over 1,000 certified service providers across different service verticals. We've also provided our services to households, to homeowners, I mean, at least 700 since we started. You know, I think we're not there yet, but we can only get better from here. I wouldn't have waited to have a perfect product in order to launch. And I think this is an obsession that a lot of aspiring social change makers, you know, are going through. You know, you wanted to have this perfect product so that you launch it to the market. But the best of the products are never finished. If you look at some of the apps that you use regularly in your mobile phone, you know, they're never finished. That's why you update them every week. You know, that's why you know, they change every day, because the best of the products are never finished. You do not have to wait. If you have a working prototype, just take it to the market, because at the end of the day, the product is not as important as the service that you're going to be providing. You can choose to define yourself as a mobile app or a web platform, but fundamentally we are much more than that. You know, our service is what defines us. We are tech-enabled, and this is what the product is, which can keep changing, getting updated, iterate, and move forward like that. So I wouldn't have waited for 1 year and, you know, keep changing and changing again in order to have this perfect product. The break of the pandemic affected us tremendously, especially in 2020. We wanted to be very aggressive with our household level services campaign, and a lot of people were very concerned about, if I call a handyman, are they well, you know, protected? You know, how can I protect my family? Everybody was going through that. So we had to change our service offering a little bit and see, okay, how do we go through this phase? How do we survive through this period? So this is when we mostly became involved with a B2B model of our business, because we said if we cannot take it to the households, maybe we can work with companies, you know, and assure them that, you know, we will still adhere to safety protocols, you know, for COVID-19. So that model, or that move, helped us sustain, you know, our business in a very significant manner. But also in terms of funding, and this is not just for us, Fundi App, for a lot of other startups too here in Eastern Africa, a lot of funding was redirected from typical startup initiatives to go fight against COVID-19. So a lot of funding was cut last year. So a lot of companies have to be very, very careful with how they burn their cash, but also with how they sustain their businesses in terms of new strategies and new types of customers too. So there's one challenge that we are facing momentarily, and that is the number of females in this industry is very low. Yeah, females are highly stereotyped against technical professions. For instance, one of our objectives is that we want to build a workforce that is at least 40% female. But unfortunately, we are not there yet. We're just below 10%. Now, we understand that this is a more systemic issue because it stems from the fact that how many females actually pursue this career, from school, but we think that we can make a deliberate effort, maybe by partnering with some of these technical and vocational institutions. We can send out a message that this is a work that females can get involved in as well. And it can also bring an entirely different perspective, when we have females doing technical works. I believe it's possible. And I also believe that females can be just as crafty and if not even more sometimes, when working with their hands. So I would get more females involved in this industry if I could, but I understand also that some foundational work has to be done first. I'm very positive about the future. Why am I saying this? If you look 5 years back, the innovation ecosystem in Tanzania was not where it is today. So a lot of progress, I think, was made within the past 5 years. Yeah. So I anticipate a lot of growth and acceleration in the next 5 years for the entire ecosystem in terms of hubs, accelerators, funding, new novel ideas as well. And one of the things that we want to do at Fundi App is we don't want to build a solution that is just for Tanzania alone. We understand that a lot of problems are similar, especially in Eastern Africa. So we want to be able to scale our solution beyond Tanzania. Right now we are doing a lot of foundational work. We're doing a lot of establishing to figure out the business model, and make sure that it works well, and then take it to the neighboring countries, because the challenges that people in the informal sector, the challenges that they're facing, the people in Rwanda, in Burundi, Kenya, DRC, they're facing the similar problems. They could benefit from the solution that we are building here. I want to stress on the females a little bit there, because I think there's a lot of stereotyping, that tech is mostly for males and such things. I think there has to be a deliberate effort, in the ecosystem to foster innovation amongst females. I'm so excited when I see things like She for Change, or She for this, or She for that, because it's not about equality, it's about equity. Equity is not giving a similar platform to males and females, because the one is very disadvantaged. So you have to raise the one that is somehow disadvantaged a little bit higher compared to the one which is not. It's not about equality, it's about equity. How do we make a deliberate effort as an entire ecosystem to, shift perspective, to make people believe and understand that this work is for everyone, and it's going to take all of us to get somewhere. No one can be left behind. Yeah. In terms of the government, I think the government needs to understand that there's a lot of passionate young females and males here in Tanzania, and they should be given a platform to improve a lot of things in e-governance systems, in infrastructure. We can increase efficiency by a large margin, if we apply technology in a lot of the initiatives within the government. First of all, I just want to say that thank you so much to the Media Convergence for having me today. I think you're doing a really important work here, because a lot of innovators and people who work with technology, they tend to forget that it's, at the end of the day, it's not about the system that you're building, it's not about the product, it's about the people. Whatever you do, whatever you build has to get out there. People need to hear what you're doing, people need to get your message, and that is exactly what Media Convergence is doing. So I would say keep doing it. You're making a huge impact here, and together I think we can continue improving the ecosystem.